Hiking is a great way to progress really fast because it allows you to get a ton of hits in quickly. So here's 10 creative tricks you can do on a simple box like this one. First up is the shuffle dance. This is a fun one, especially for getting comfortable, feeling your edges, going sideways on a box. We're gonna start off just doing one shifty, and then you can progress into 2 shifties or add more if you have a longer box. Next up, we got spin to win. This is another super fun one. To start off getting comfy, we want to just do a little bit of a spin, so just kind of getting on 50 and sliding a 180 to switch. And then to initiate bigger spins, it's all about spinning on the takeoff. Once you're on the box, it's going to be hard to set an edge and start spinning. So you're going to initiate your spin on the takeoff. Just remember your nice balanced stance while you're spinning around. You don't want to be back seat. This will cause you to slip out or fall off. Important thing to remember with this one is to have a nice straight line coming in. If you're at an angle, you're going to be spinning and then you're going to fall off the side of the rail and catch an edge. What's nice about hiking on a day like today? Keeps you warm. Next up, we got the ski slide or the 5-0. This one's super simple. It's just like a 50-50, but you're gonna take one ski, put it on the edge of the box, and one ski and dip it off the side. To get comfy with this trick, just find a nice place on flat. Take the ski you're gonna be most comfortable with. This one's gonna be the one that's on the box. Then take your other ski and just practice kind of dipping your tail like this, because that's actually how you're gonna control and stay on the box. Super important you don't squeeze too much, otherwise you'll end up pushing yourself off the box, but also important not to have too wide of a stance, otherwise you'll end up slipping out. Next up, we got the X slide. This one's a little more technical as it involves taking your skis and crossing them like an iron cross while you're sliding on the box. Don't worry, it's super rare that you would catch an edge on this trick. You'll actually just slide right through it. To get comfy with this one, just find a nice flat spot. You can practice just putting one ski over the other, finding which way is going to be more comfortable for you, and then maybe practice actually popping into it a couple times, because this trick requires that you pop onto the box, cross your skis, then uncross them. So with this one, you need to pop on, cross your skis, slide, pop off, and uncross them. Next up, we got the switch 50-50. This one sounds scary, but it's a lot more chill than it seems. What you're gonna wanna do is just make sure you have a nice comfortable switch stance, go in nice and slow, find a nice wide box is gonna make it a lot easier. Don't worry too much about taking the angle into the box. Just start straight and you can line up before you even drop in. Next up is the lazy boy. This one's super fun, super simple. You're just gonna do a slight hand drag as you're coming up the lip of the rail. Figure out which hand is gonna be your back hand. So I'm sliding left foot forward, so I'm gonna be using my right hand. This one's really easy to come out to switch, so that's what I'm gonna be doing, but you can also bring this to forward if you want. Make sure there's nothing that your hand is gonna catch on, but you can also use your hand to stabilize yourself as you're sliding through in that seated position. Your center of gravity is gonna be a bit lower, so you might feel a bit more wobbly than you normally would. But it's quite hard to slip out on this one, because you got your hand there stabilizing you. Next up, we got the early grab. This one's fun because there's many different variations of it. I'm gonna be doing same nose by grabbing my right ski with my right hand. I'm gonna be doing this before I come into the box, holding same nose all the way through the box and letting go as I come off the end. But you can also do this with tail, you can do it opposite nose. There's many different ways you can do this one. Before you take this to a box, you can get comfy with it by just finding a nice flat spot and practicing whichever grab you're gonna do. So I'm gonna practice that same nose by grabbing my right hand on my right ski and just feeling that flex. Next up, we got the grab slide. So this is gonna be different from the early grab because we're gonna pop onto the rail first and then reach down and grab our ski. So what you're gonna do is just pop on sideways as you normally would slide a rail or box, and then reach down and grab backhand safety. So for me, I'm gonna be sliding right foot forward, so I'll be grabbing with my left hand, just right here, above the binding. Quick tip with this one is to actually grab a little later in the rail. That way you're gonna make sure that you have enough space between your hand and the rail that you're not gonna pinch it. Next up, we got the tail press. This one's just a simple variation of a 50-50, but what you're gonna do is sit back over the tails of your skis, and that's gonna cause you to go into this like press. This one's pretty simple, but you wanna keep your quads and your core engaged. Make sure you're staying nice and straight, otherwise you might slip out from side to side. and popping back into a forward's position when you land and not staying backseat. It's not important to get your skis super high, you only need to do a little bit of a press for this to count. All right, last trick. This one's also kind of the hardest because it requires the most balance. It's the nose press. So just like the tail press, you're gonna wanna come into the box and lean over the front of your skis to start lifting up those tails into that nose press. Like the tail press, you don't need to over exaggerate this one. Don't worry about getting your tails too high in the air, just a little bit of a press and it counts. All right, with this one, I think it's super important that you practice your press on snow on a flat piece of ground before you take it to the box because it is a little trickier. So just stand on the flat ground. First, feel your shins in the front of your boots and then slowly take your chest and put it over the noses of your skis until you can feel your tails lifting up. With this one, make sure that you stay engaged with your hamstrings and glutes all the way through so that you're not falling forward too much. Hope you enjoyed these 10 creative tricks we went through today and have something new to try next time you're going to the park. If you're looking to spice things up in a different direction, check out our other video on tricks you can do on skis but you can't do on a snowboard.